Hi guys, it's me, Miss Bush, one of the fourth grade ELA teachers, and I've come here today to share with you a story about when I was in school, around third, fourth grade age. But anyway, before I do, I have to put a plug in for reading. You know, I am a reading teacher and I love it. And right now I'm revisiting the Anne of Green Gables series. My class knows that this is one of the series that I love. And I love Ellen Montgomery. She is an amazing writer with beautiful, ooh, my dog is wet, beautiful vocabulary. So I hope you guys are out there reading, and I hope that maybe you would even take time to jot down some things you learn from your book. Because as long as you're reading and writing, you're going to be okay when school does start back. Well, that's enough of a little plug. And now on to my story. I was, I guess, an 8-year-old child going to school just like a normal school year. And this was back in the 60s. And no, I'm not going to tell you exactly when. Just know that, yes, I am a very old teacher. But anyway, I was going to school back in the 60s and just starting the school year like normal, loving school because even back then when I was 8, I knew I wanted to be a teacher. So going to school was always fun for me and I loved it. So I just started my school year like normal. But unbeknownst to me, there were things going on in my country that I didn't know about. For instance, the United States attacked Cuba because they didn't like the evil dictator Fidel Castro. And they attacked Cuba. The attack didn't work. They wanted to overthrow him. But it did send a message to Cuba that we were something to reckon with. America was a force. So Cuba connects with the Soviet Union and they develop some nuclear missiles and house them in Cuba. Now, I didn't know all this was going on. I was a child. I was just going to school. But our country also got nuclear missiles ready. And so there was a nuclear missile fear. So our country wanted to protect its citizens just like our country wants to protect its citizens now. So I start to school, I'm 8 years old, and all of a sudden, I'm having to do some really strange things in school. For instance, our teacher would come up with a signal word like, duck! And I would have to duck under my desk, drop everything, didn't matter what we were doing, but I had to dive under my desk and hide. Now, looking back on that memory as an adult, I kind of laugh because hiding under a desk would not have given me much protection if a nuclear missile had truly been launched. But duck I did because my teacher asked me to do that. And at this point gave us some guidelines. Now, I know she talked about nuclear missiles and I know she explained what was going on. It just didn't register much with me, except that I would get to interrupt my school day ducking under my desk. But then we were required to do something even bigger. And I think it was 2 or 3 times during that school year, but an air raid siren would go off and we would have to drop everything, maybe grab a couple of books, but we couldn't wait for friends. I couldn't even wait for my 2 brothers who were at the same elementary school. We had to just walk out of that school immediately and walk home. Now, I lived 3 or 4 miles from the school. And one of the memories that sticks up to me is there was a really big hill that I had to climb to get home. But we had time deadlines. We had a certain amount of time to leave that school and walk home and reach safety. And if we didn't make it in that guideline, we did not reach safety. So I guess that meant the nuclear missile would blow us up. I don't know. And I think for 2 times I must not have taken it very seriously, because I'm sorry to say I only reached safety 1 time. And knowing myself, and my classroom children would agree with this, I probably stopped to talk, because I do enjoy talking. And I probably saw a pretty flower on the way and wanted to pick it for my mother. But I do know that at least twice I did not make it home in those set amount of guidelines. And I got a stern talking to, and my parents would sit me down and try to tell me the seriousness of the matter. And so I guess it was the last air raid practice. I did make it home in those safety guidelines. And I just felt so good about that. And I remember my parents being proud. But that was a really strange school year for me. I mean, how many children have had to walk out of the school because they were afraid of a nuclear missile? But at the same time, how many children have had to leave their school because of a virus? You've set a mark in history. I feel like I set a mark in history, because I don't know of another time a group of children had to walk home under the threat of a nuclear attack. And hopefully there will never be another group of children that lose school time because of being under a viral attack or a virus attack. So I felt like our little stories kind of related to each other. But here's what I want you to remember. I persevered. I'm here. I listened to the guidelines, and I did, with the encouragement of my family and my teachers, follow those guidelines. And I did that walk home and made it successfully. Now here's the takeaway memories that I have. 1, my school cared for me. My school encouraged me to do the right thing and to be safe. My community encouraged me and gave me guidelines to follow for my safety. And my parents were there to get on to me when I didn't follow those guidelines, and to encourage me and to review those guidelines constantly with me, and how safe I felt when I did do what they asked me to do. So here's my takeaway for you guys. You are going to persevere. You are following those guidelines. Your school, your teachers, we love you and we miss you. And your parents are there to admonish you if you break those guidelines and encourage you if you follow them. So hang in there, guys. It's all going to turn out great. This is all going to end. And one day, you might be videotaping a story for your grandchildren or children in your classroom that says, you know what, guys, I survived the coronavirus. And here are some memories. Love you guys. Bye-bye.